The Crossfire is TFT's high-flowing portable monitor, rated at 1,250 gallons a minute, both on the ground as well as on top of the truck. This was one of our earliest designs, which gave amazing functionality to a portable monitor in the earliest days. This was before the smaller, more personal portable monitors came about. The idea of this type monitor was a top unit would be put on top of the truck in some manner, in some pre-piped waterway down to the pump. And then when the application presented itself from a firefighting standpoint, the top would be taken off, it would be handed down, then it would be attached to a portable base that was probably deployed up towards the fire at some point. So this is a case where probably the biggest innovation here was to lighten the load of the firefighter. In a lot of cases, the older models were heavy brass, often had 3 inlets, the term multiversal. The term portable was pretty relative until TFT came along, and with the use of really the high-strength aluminum alloys and stainless and some of the other componentry we did, we knocked a huge amount of the weight out of it and really made these a more portable type monitor. Now you see all the different components that we have here in the Crossfire monitor, and I kind of want to go through them very quickly. One of the key things that we identified early on in the design and development was to have some sort of a safety valve integrated into the unit itself. When you're dealing with flows, again in this case rated up to 1,250 gallons per minute on the ground, you can have reaction forces that well exceed 600 pounds of nozzle reaction. So you have to have some level of safety, including some sort of a tie-down strap in service during operations to be safe and to use it effectively. Now what the safety valve does, in any manner that this thing it starts to slide or tip or becomes unstable, there's a safety valve. You see the little foot on the bottom senses the ground, and if it loses contact with the ground, this valve closes. Now it's not a complete closure, it's only about a 90% occlusion of the waterway, and it knocks a huge amount of the fire flow out of it, eliminating a lot of the nozzle reaction and safing the monitor itself. So again, that's one of the very unique features that TFT has. Now we also make this model in what we call a stowaway base that does not have the safety valve in it. So it's offered both ways. Now again, it's a 2-piece configuration, and on the bottom component here you'll see it has a set of folding legs that are made from spring steel, stainless steel, and we have 5 very, very sharp carbide tips that provide the necessary friction with the ground to add to stability on this. So typically what we would do, the unit would come off the top of the truck. In this case we see an extended gun up here. It would be taken down and handed to the person on the ground, and then this component would be added to the bottom piece. Again, one of the unique features that TFT has on the Crossfire is a very positive visual lock. In an unlocked situation, you can tell very clearly whether it's on top of the truck or on the ground, it's not locked. In this case, it's very obvious it is locked. The pawls are engaged here, and you can see the little button behind it. Now this button, just so you know, this is it's kind of the locking mechanism here, cannot be depressed under a flow condition. So it prevents the operator from maybe inadvertently having the gun come off the top of the unit. Also back here you can see we have a friction style of lock. Okay, so the rotational lock would be pressed down, and now it's locked in place. This is a little unique as well, that instead of what other competitive models do, we've chosen to use a small nylon serrated friction component that just fits right in here. So if it ever is damaged, you can kind of hear it as I turn this. I'll press it. You can hear the serrations in there. If it is damaged, it's a very inexpensive replacement or repair. It can be done very, very quickly. So that was the other thing. Some other key features, we identified a lot of the competitive models. This worm gear assembly right in this area takes a lot of abuse because of the weight of the nozzle on the end and bouncing on the truck going down the street. So we had to really beef this area up, and we came up with a very unique stainless steel worm gear that's designed to handle this sort of load that a bouncing nozzle will have as it heads down the road. So that's a very unique feature as well. We also put a pressure gauge in the top of every Crossfire that faces back to the operator, so you don't have to get up over the top of the gun to see what your operational pressure is. So between that, the different types of nozzles that we have, either stack tips with straight streams or our regular automatic master stream that can be adjusted in pressure, tremendous amount of configuration can take place with the Crossfire. The other thing that we did is a lot of departments may start off with a twin 2.5-inch inlet to basically feed it with two 2.5 or two 3-inch supply lines. Someday they may change to large diameter hose, 4-inch or 5-inch hose with Storz couplings. Well, instead of having to buy a whole new base, you can see this rear piece basically comes off, and then we can put a brand new coupling on it. So instead of having to buy the whole base, you just add a brand new back end of the thing, and you have the appropriate coupling for the appropriate hose changes that you've made. So if you have any questions about the Crossfire high-flowing 1250 GPM portable monitor that TFT makes, whether it's on the top of the truck for an application with our extended gun, or whether it's for use in big firefighting applications, feel free to visit www.tft.com to learn more, or if you have any questions, contact 800-348-2686 and talk to our service and tech team.